All right, being 7 o'clock, we'll call the common council meeting to order, and please stand for your
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
clerk. Roll call has been taken.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved to adopt agenda, Don.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, seconded by Mr. Besaw. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried by all. Approval of August 20th, 2024 and September 4th, 2024 special common council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Hurd. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Belinda. All right, Mr. Dorsey, authorization to pay the bills.
Your Honor, I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $764,879.67.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Crochet. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, please cast your ballots.
Linda?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
That motion carried 10-0. All right, next on the list is public hearing to amend comprehensive plan future land use map. That being said, it is 7:02. We'll open up the public hearing. Any comment for the public hearing? Any comment for the public hearing? Any comment? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Next on the agenda, more public comment. Public comment. Hearing no further public comment. Belong to standing and special committees. Board of Public Works, Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Your Honor. Board of Public Works met Tuesday, September 3rd. Meeting was called to order at 5:50. Motion was made and seconded to approve the agenda. There was no public input. The motion made and second for approval of the August 5th, 2024 minutes. Motion carried by all. Wastewater treatment plan update. Wastewater notes included in the packet. Next was a presentation of the Public Works 2025 budget. Director Garsky presented the proposed budget for the Public Works. The presentation covered the street department, facilities, maintenance, and wastewater overviews. No motion made or vote was taken. Director's report. The director's report is included in the packet and was reviewed by the board. Corey Iwart, facilities technician, 3 years. Director Garsky provided an update on the downtown project. They removed the road surface in stage 2. All light bases and poles were removed to accommodate the concrete paver. They will be replacing the road base and running new conduit for electrical work that needs to be done for the traffic lights in the Pearl Street and North Water Street intersection. Next, Oshkosh Street plan should be available for discussion at the next Board of Public Works meeting. The asphalt patch program started on Roland Street last Friday. Highway 45 bypass scheduled for September 16th. Detour will be rerouted through town using a Mill Street to Wolf River Avenue to Shawano Street to Highway 54. Future agenda items: citywide garbage collection services, bulk overflow curbside collection, the Oshkosh Street plan review. The date and time for the next Public Works meeting is Monday, September 30th at 5:15. Being no further discussion, motion made and second to adjourn at 6:25. Motion carried by all. And that is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Moving right along to finance and personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
Your Honor, Finance Personnel Committee met Wednesday, September 4th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made by Esau, second by Barrington to approve the amended agenda. Item 7 was moved to 6 and 6 was moved to 7. There is no public comment. City Clerk Cole Ryerson presented a proposed ordinance to change the solicitor's license requirements and fee schedule. The change would include removal of unnecessary information for background checks, removal of the surety bond requirement. Vendor will not be required to apply for the license as long as it's hosted by a bona fide nonprofit, already a brick and mortar store. The fee for vendors outside the city of New London would increase from $35 to $50. Alderperson Migowski led a discussion on going from a 2 to a 3 or 4 year term for alderpersons/mayor. Ms. Migowski felt the extended time would give alderpersons more time to understand the duties and responsibilities. There was a general consensus that leaving a 2-year term would be most beneficial at this time, requiring the alderpersons and mayor to go connect with residents in their district for those required signatures. City Assessor Adam Survey discussed assessment information as it pertains to the net new construction, manufacturing assessment, and assessment ratio. He also reviewed the changes to the personal property due to Act 12. Employee benefits consultant Jamie Gilson presented the 2025 healthcare insurance results from medical market analysis. For the October 1st, 2024 plan renewal, the recommendation was a 2-year plan design with United Healthcare. Employees will have a choice between a couple different deductible plans. The Delta dental premium increased by 2%. The vision plan stayed the same. Motion was made by Shade, second by Esau, to recommend the council of the city move to United Healthcare and also continue the coverage with Delta Vision and Delta Dental. The 2025 budget presentation will be held on October 22nd at 5:15. Finance director's monthly reports were presented. Finance director's report was discussed. There'd be no further business. Meeting was adjourned at 6:44. Make a motion to approve the monthly license list.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Roberts. Any additions or corrections or any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried by all.
Make a motion for the approval of a 2-year tech service agreement with PC and Cell Solutions.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Roberts. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried by all.
Make a motion for approval of an ordinance to amend the municipal code as it relates to the regulation and licensing of solicitors and updated fee schedule. This is the first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey. I didn't catch the second. Mr. Hess? Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. Mr. Shea? That motion is carried 10-0.
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Park and Recreation, Mr. Lisa.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee met on Tuesday, September 3rd. Meeting was called to order at 5 o'clock after the Pledge of Allegiance. Motion was made and second to adopt the agenda. Motion carried 12-0. Motion was made and seconded to approve the August 5th, 2024 meeting minutes. That motion carried 12-0 also. Public input. Kay Patterson, president of the Twin Rivers Condominium Association, approached the committee to request vacating the easement for a walking trail along the riverside of the property. She stated concerns including the property values, security, and liability when allowing the public to be so close to their docks and privacy having the public so close to their condos. Review and recommend update to the special events policy. Director Sol brought to committee recommended changes to the special events policy. The updates are recommended from the city's insurance companies, CIVMIC, based on the increase in claims being paid out for special events related incidents. Assurance recommendations are ranked based on the risk involved in the special event. These increases will be from 1 million policy to a 2 million policy for level 1 risk and increasing per level. Other updates include drones and their use of special events and limiting individual events to last no more than 3 days in a row. Motion is made and seconded to approve and recommend to council to consider and approving the updates to the special events policy. The motion was carried by all. Two Rivers condo conversation, City Administrator Chad Hurt addressed the committee with a history of the property providing existing agreement, the original development agreement, certified survey map with special purchase and a 2023 agreement for shoreline maintenance responsibilities. Discussion led to having the purchase agreement reviewed to the city attorney to see what other liability or other agreements may be associated with it, and his suggested moving forward based on that. Administrator Hart will also connect with the Twin River Condo Association to communicate the conversation with attorney with them. The item will be brought back for future discussion. No motion was made or vote taken. Review 2025-26 budget that will be recommended to council. Director Sol went over the budget that will be presented to council. The recreation budget increased the most significantly to support the increase in participation in adult leagues. There is a general increase in cost of materials for the park department and aquatic and fitness center caused by the raising costs of materials and the increase in permitting from Wapaka County. The aquatic and fitness center and senior transit will see decreases in wages due to senior staff leaving. Washington Center gym seasonal staff budget has been decreased to even out the increase in recreational seasonal staff budget. The Washington Center has no significant change to note. Currently, it is budgeted to give all full-time and regular part-time staff a 3% wage increase, and the seasonal staff will receive a 50-cent raise. No motion made or vote taken. Director's report. Director was included in the agenda packet and reviewed by the committee. Additional comments noted as follows. Preparation for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Waterways Commission presentation for the overflow boat launch project. Work with April Chamber of Commerce setting up for Fall Fest. Working on winter and spring activity guide. Part-time customer service team member to be added to staff soon. Staff announcements, service recognition. Mike Frieden, senior bus driver, retired after 15 years of service. Morgan Gerges, recreation supervisor, 6 years. Chairman's report, there was none. Future agenda items. Proclamation for urban forestry grant. Twin condo easement information, Chad Hurst, city administrator. Full park tour, future park tour. Next Park and Rec Committee meeting will be Tuesday, September 3rd at 5:15. Adjournment. There being no further discussion, motion was made and second to adjourn the meeting at 5:47. I would look for approval of the approval for considering approval of the special events policy.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw, second by Mr. Dorsey for approval of the special events policy. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Besaw. Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie, you're up.
Okay, the planning commission meeting for August 22nd was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made to adopt the agenda. That was carried by all. July 25th, 2024 minutes were reviewed in your packet. First action item was to have myself open up a public hearing to seek comments related to the purpose or just. So. The proposed comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map. No one from the public were in the gallery or attended via Zoom. After hearing no comments, after the inquiries, the public hearing was closed. The next item on the agenda was to consider to adopt a resolution for proposed comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map. A motion was made in second, carried by all. Okay, and then at this point, the meeting was turned over to representatives from Vandy Wall and Associates to continue a discussion about the process to rewrite our zoning ordinance. Vandy Wall provided tables and language to discuss zoning districts and land use. Certain aspects of the zoning ordinance were discussed at length. And that's all we had. The motion was made and seconded and carried by all to adjourn the meeting at 6:20. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the approval of ordinance amendment future land use maps. Second.
So Mr. Ritchie made the motion. Mr. Herter seconded the motion for approval of ordinance amending future land maps, first reading. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0. That all you have, Mr. Ritchie?
That's all I have here.
Thank you, sir. All right, Economic Development Committee, Mr. Dorsey.
Mr. Honor, Berlin Economic Development Committee met Tuesday, August 27th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. There is no public comment. Board provided information to the committee about a proposed development located at the corner of Wyman Street and Wolf River Avenue. Development plan includes 2 six-plex apartments with one on the north side featuring first floor commercial space. Developer requested assistance through a TID district grant to help cover some of the construction. Administrator brought the matter to the Economic Development Committee to ensure they were informed and to gauge their support in considering the TID grant request from the developer. It was recommended the city administrator negotiate a TID grant development agreement for multi-use commercial residential development at the corner of Wyman and Wolf River Ave, carried by all. Perth and Kapitsky discussed the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's Connect Communities program, in which the city and chamber is enrolled. Chamber's Downtown Revitalization Committee is the local representative group for New London in the program. Due to the city and the chamber's past participation, New London has earned a gold tier Connect Community designation for 2025. A recognition is only given to 6 communities in Wisconsin. The designation provides New London access to several free services from WEDC. The Downtown Revitalization Committee to review and work on utilizing these additional program benefits. Chamber's Director report. The pop-up campaign office is open at 300 West North Water Street. The grand opening scheduled for August 31st. A pool and dart hall called The Vault will be opening at 310 North Water Street in September. Jolly Rogers Pizzeria is working on facade improvements at 2020 or 224 West North Water Street. One of the many businesses participating in the program. Greenville Eye Care recently held a ribbon cutting for their business expansion at 105 Northridge Drive. The Grand Cinema Theater has closed its large screen due to the structural issues with the roof in the historic section. Movies are still being shown in the newer section. Automotive Supply, 223 West North Water Street is temporarily closed due to safety concerns caused by the roof issues. City and Chamber have been notified that the old Piggly Wiggly building at 1919 North Shawano Street is under contract for purchase. To Administrator's report. Administrator Hurst reported that Chief Fitzke had a virtual meeting with investors who are looking at purchasing the vacant Piggly Wiggly building and have intent of fixing up for future commercial rentals. Tentative schedule was provided showing a timeline for the UW Madison Senior Landscaping Capstone Graduate Program. The city should be notified before the next meeting if the London's placemaking application was chosen for the project. The committee anticipated holding its next meeting on Tuesday, September 24th at 5:15. There's motion to move into closed session at 5:41 per statutory exemption 19.85 subsection 1 subsection E regarding the consideration of purchasing of public properties for development in northeast Business Center. Those included in closed session were the Economic Development Committee, Common Council, Mayor Mark Herter, City Administrator Chad Hurth, City Attorney Keith Steckbauer, and representative with Avangrid Company, Jeff Greenkemmeyer, Derek Buss, Rachel Grant, and Scott Cohen. This meeting was adjourned at 7:23 in closed session. And that is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Minutes and reports will stand as read in your packets. Moving right along to reports of officers and recent events and announcements to the public. Start off with the mayor's report. I have two agenda items here and both need approval by council. That means a motion and a second from council, please. The first one is the adoption of ordinance amending 2.01 of the municipal code relating to the schedule of regular council meetings to adjust the start time. First reading.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Herter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0. Make my appointment of Troy Herter to the Planning Commission for vacancy. This also needs a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Dorsey. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried. Eight yes, one abstain, and one no. That is all that I have. Clerk Ryerson, you're on.
Thank you. In the clerk's office, we're gearing up for the presidential election in November. Ballots were ready before the deadline, and this morning absentee ballots were mailed out to over 260 people who had requests on file with the clerk's office. So if you have requested an absentee ballot, keep your eye out in the mail for that. Many voters have been contacting the clerk's office, wondering if they are registered, or they may have received a third-party mailing telling them they're not registered. You can see if you are registered to vote by contacting the clerk's office or visiting myvotewi.gov. In the state of Wisconsin, anyone can register on election day, but if you would like to register beforehand, you can do so by mail, by visiting us in the clerk's office, or online at myvotewi.gov by October 16th.
Thank you, Ms. Ryerson.
Thanks.
City Administrator, Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to take an opportunity to thank everyone involved for a great Wheels on Warner Allen car show and a Fall Family Fest. I know the Chamber released many thank yous on their social media releases, but a huge thank you needs to actually go to the Chamber. April, Sophia, and India at the Chamber put a ton of time preparing and organizing for a successful event. I really don't think people have to understand how many hours of work and what has to go into a successful event like that. So if you see any of those ladies, truly thank them for their hard work. I'm guessing we had thousands of people attend. I heard all the hotels were full for the event. So another great event for New London. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, Chief of Police, Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had 3 anniversaries. Ashley Boswell, 17 years, Steve Elliott, 6 years, and Brent Gosh, 3 years. And then I also just wanted to, as everyone's probably noticed, we have a detour going through town now. If you haven't noticed, I'm surprised, but anyways, we continue to monitor the traffic on there. What we're finding out right now is our busiest times appear to be between 7 and 8 in the morning, 11:30 and 12:30 in the afternoon, and 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. After that, it definitely settles down quite a bit. I would encourage the public to go out there and maybe utilize times not associated with those to make your trip north or over the river. So we're also working hard to get rid of the accidents. So we've had a couple accidents on the detour so far. We're doing our best to get them removed off the detour route as quick as possible and get everything open back up again. We've also worked with the street department and New London Utilities to get the lights up on Pearl Street and Wolf River Avenue changed a little bit this afternoon. There was only about an 18-second gap to go east and west. That's now at 30 seconds. And north and south was at 48 seconds. We moved that to 30. So hopefully we get traffic east and west a little bit quicker on there. But as always, remind everyone to try to look for alternative routes if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Director of Public Works, Mr. Darsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess Chief covered most of the detour talk that I was gonna discuss. One thing to note, the traffic count for the actual detoured section, last year had a count of 9,600 vehicles, daily. So when you're adding that type of influx, there is gonna be backups at times, and it's just part of the detour. So, that's all I really have to touch on there. Downtown projects, they actually prepped the base today. We'll be finishing up prepping the base. This is in, phase 2. They'll finish the base tomorrow. And they're talking about starting the concrete paving on Thursday or Friday and carrying it over into next week. And that is all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Darsky. Ms. Soul is not in attendance. Does anybody have a report? All right, then we'll move along to the fire department. Mr. Ritchie?
We have one member to recognize. It's Ryan Bedorowski for 14 years, second hire. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. And last but not least, Mr. Bessett, the utility manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no outages to report this month from the utilities. I would like to remind everybody, utility crews will be out September 23rd, 24th, and 25th for our hydrant flushing. And then I'd like to recognize Mike Pinch for 27 years of service this month with the utilities. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Bessett. And the last thing on the agenda is for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
It's motion made by Mr. Roberts, second by Mr. Herder. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.